Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists of the pointless things, where we fly and buys pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is the Dark Iron Entrepreneur. And the Dark Iron Entrepreneur is a Dark Iron Dwarf, as you might have guessed, that is a specialty goods vendor located by the Thandal Span in the Arathi Highlands. And you can see he's got his little tent set up, as well as numerous barrels of explosives. He's got a little wagon of explosives. He's got explosives behind the tent, in front of the tent. Like, this dude loves explosives. He's even carrying a little dynamite in his hand, I just realized. Also, I don't know if I'd be putting a campfire this close to all these explosives. And when you talk to him, you can see what he sells. And you can see here he sells red fireworks rockets, heavy dynamite, formula enchant gloves mining, and a green axe. And it appears that he can sell a few different green armor pieces, and he's got a few dynamites in his supply, but the formula enchant gloves mining and red fireworks rocket are always in supply. Also, prior to the cataclysm, this guy actually used to be in Dunmodir in the wetlands, and then they moved him over here in the middle of nowhere. Now, I will say, post Arathi Highlands rework, this guy is nowhere to be seen. So I don't know where he went. Maybe he was like, oh, there's too much fighting here, I'm getting out of here. But hopefully one day we run into the Dark Iron Entrepreneur again, and that's why he's number 10. 9. Number 9 is David Wayne, and David Wayne is a human quest giver located on a small tip of land just east of Firewing Point in the Terrakar Forest. And as you can see here, he's kind of tucked away at the end of the world. You can literally like look over the edge and see, I don't know what's down there, the void, space, something, but he's got his little camp here, and it's actually known as Wayne's Refuge. And if you talk to David Wayne, he says, "You can take a man away from the sons of Lothar, but you can't take the sons out of him." The smith shrugs. "It's hard to explain, but I don't feel like I'm meant to be at Honor Hold right now is all. Perhaps I'm meant to be part of something larger." And so he mentions the Sons of Lothar, which was also known as the Alliance Expedition and consisted mainly of veterans from the Second War that ventured into Draenor with the goal of confiscating stolen magical artifacts such as the Book of Medivh and the Eye of Dalaran from Ner'zhul. And they were named after Anduin Lothar, who they considered to be the bravest and most selfless human warrior they ever knew. It also says here his name could be a reference to the television show 24 because there was a David Palmer and a Wayne Palmer, so they just took the first two names and made David Wayne. And knowing Blizzard with their references, that would not surprise me one bit. But yeah, David Wayne is pretty cool. He's in the middle of nowhere, and that's why he's number 9. 8. Number 8 is Winky, and Winky is a gnome that is located on this random island in Tanaris, and there's a hammock there's a bunch of bolts and engineering parts, and she's wearing an eye patch. And back in classic World of Warcraft, Winky was just here and had absolutely no purpose. She was just a random gnome out on this island, and that was that. However, they actually gave her a quest in Legion, which helps you learn the origin of Blingtron and create the Blingtron 6000. And it turns out that Winky is actually the granddaughter of Nopedo Bizfuse, who is the original inventor of Blingtron, like the original Blingtron. And so yeah, I mean, either way, whether she's got some quest she's given out post-Legion or prior to Legion where she was just out here, Winky is just a gnome in the middle of nowhere. Like, she's just on an island in Tanaris. She's got her chill little area, and it honestly seems pretty relaxing out here. But I do love the fact that they just took this gnome that was probably added in here just for like some world flavor or something, right? And they actually gave her a purpose. So that's why Winky is number 8. 7. Number 7 is Trainer Iris Greedsway, and Trainer Iris Greedsway is located on the western part of the Eye of Azshara. And she's just kind of tucked away in the side of the mountains where there's this ship that's crashed, and the only way in is like this little rock area where you can swim in through the water. And then she just has a bunch of battle pets. And I don't know if these are her battle pets or if she's like smuggling battle pets, because it's kind of weird how many she has here, or like if the ship crashed and she was on it. There's a lot of questions that I have, but when you talk to her, she says, "The best battle is a pet battle. The best pet is all the pets." But that still doesn't really answer the true question that I have, which is like, why is she here? How did she get here? We need her origin story is what I'm saying. However, I know that Blizzard just added a bunch of like battle pet trainers all over the place. So there's actually a lot of battle pet trainers just in the middle of nowhere, but I thought this was like a prime middle of nowhere location because western coast of Eye of Azshara, barely anyone here, tucked away in this little area in the mountains, and it's just a really cool little area. Also, it says she was added in Shadowlands, so like, was this here prior to Shadowlands? Was this here in Legion? Or like, did they add this entire little area here? I actually need to look into that because I don't know, but either way, that's why Trainer Iris Greedsway is number 7. 6. Number 6 is Sean, and Sean is a human located on a floating island above Forge Camp Fear in Outland Nagrand. And if you talk to Sean, he looks at you expectantly, which is kind of weird. You would think it'd be the opposite, right? You'd be like, "Hey, why are you on my random island?" But If you slash wave at him, he says, "Is it you, the person I've been dreaming about?" Before you ask, I don't know what this person looks like. In my first, they were a night elf. In the second, they were a Tauren. And in the third, a night elf again. In these dreams, we'd adventure across Azeroth and Draenor, fighting demons, dragons, and old gods, and even murlocs. I'd never had a connection like this before. It seemed so real to me. In my last dream, I asked them to meet me here. I hope you find them. I'll keep waiting. I know they'll come. I've had the same dreams about you. Are you? You are. I have so much to tell you. Where do I get started? Since our first adventure, I could no longer focus on what our next adventure would be. My friends would tell me that you weren't real, that I was acting crazy, that you're only in my dream, and I knew they couldn't be right. The feelings I have are far more than a dream. Every adventure we've been on, every foe we've slain, and every chat we've had has brought me to this one question for you. Will you adventure with me forever? And if you say, I'm sorry, I just can't, he goes, I understand. But if you say yes, he goes, I don't have words. You've made me the happiest person. To our next adventure. And then he gives you a glowing diamond ring. And so you might be like, what is this even a reference to? Well, it's a reference to a Blizzard employee and his successful marriage proposal. And he says she did say /yes. So I don't know if they're still married, but they were in 2017. So that's why Sean is number 6. 5. Number 5 are the Young Orc Woman and the Young Orc Traveler located in the Frostfire Ridge. And this is actually a pretty sad one. So you find the Young Orc Woman named Magro located next to a burned out fire in an empty tent northeast of the Crackling Plains. And when you try to interact with her, it says, this orc appears to have been camping here for several days before succumbing to the bitter cold. Her face is frozen in a woeful state, gazing southwest towards the icy flats. Clutched to her breast is a neatly folded letter. And if you open the note, it reads, Magra, my huntress, another dull day at Stonefang Outpost. As I stare across the flats, I cannot help but think of you. Do you remember the day we met? I hurled my axe at your mount, and you nearly impaled me with a spear. It was love at first sight. Clans be damned, my mind is made up. I will leave it all to be with you. Choose the place, I will come. We'll leave Frostfire and make a life somewhere. I hear Nagrand is beautiful. Your future mate, Karash. P.S. I have enclosed Longhowl's Fistfang. I was wearing it around my neck that day. I hope it will guide me to you once again. And so, as you might expect, you find the Young Orc Traveler, who is Karash. And he did not make it and died in the snow. And then she obviously froze to death waiting for him. So, both of them did not have a very good ending in this situation. But you do end up getting a letter from him as well, which is a letter that she wrote him, and she attaches a Snowhare's foot. And so, if you combine these, you can create the Talisman of Yearning Unfulfilled. And so even though this is a pretty sad one, it's still an interesting story about two NPCs in the middle of nowhere, and that's why they're number 5. 4. Number 4 is Kyla the Traveler. I think it's Kyla. I looked it up and it said La, but it could be Lay. I'm going to say La, because that's what the internet said. So Kyla the Traveler is a Pandaren from the Wandering Isle that's just chilling with a fishing pole on his own little island. And if you talk to him, he says, here we are in a land down under. It is just as beautiful as the stories I was told as a cub on the Wandering Isle, though the fish could be larger. And I believe this could be a reference to the Men at Work song Down Under, where they're like, I come from a land down under, right? I think it could be that. Knowing Blizzard, it probably is a reference, because Blizzard loves their references. And I don't know if this is supposed to happen, but he started just following me around trying to attack, or like, I don't know what he's doing here, but I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to happen. But aside from all that, it actually is a really nice little area in the middle of nowhere. He's got some nice trees, he's got his house, he's got the boat, he's got some fishing stuff, and it's actually a really relaxing area. So if I had to pick any of these areas to be at, this is the one I'd want to be at in the middle of nowhere. And so that's why Kyla the Traveler is number 4. 3. Number 3 is Donova Snowden, and Donova Snowden is a dwarf quest giver located in Winterspring. And if you talk to Donova Snowden, she says, hello, what brings you to Winterspring? These cold, vast lands may seem dismal, but this is a place of many secrets. Which I also don't really think of Winterspring as a dismal location, but that's also just me. I love Winterspring. But yeah, if you've played Classic WoW at all, or you've played Retail WoW and quested through all the zones, you've probably quested with Donova Snowden before. She's involved with all the Furbolg, Firewater stuff, and High Chief Winterfall. And I would say she's a pretty well-known NPC, but she is in the middle of nowhere, right? She's just randomly in the western part of Winterspring by a fire, and it's just very tucked away, I would say, right? Like, it's off the road, it's in the southwestern part of the mountains, and she's just got her fire there, and it's actually, I think it's a pretty cozy little area, but it is pretty secluded here. The only reason most people know about it is because of all the quests. And so when I was trying to put together the list of NPCs in the middle of nowhere, I was like, you know what? I think Donova Snowden does belong on this list, and that's why Donova Snowden is number 3. 2. Number 2 is Leo Sarn, and Leo Sarn is a Forsaken enchanting vendor located in the hills by the Grey Mane Wall in the Silver Pine Forest. And when I talk about NPCs in the middle of nowhere, this dude is actually just in the middle of nowhere. He is like in a giant open area with a bunch of hills all around. Like, he's got nothing nearby. Apparently back in Classic WoW, he even used to have a tent, and now he doesn't even have that. He like got rid of his tent. He's like, I don't need this shit. Now he's just like standing out here, just in the middle of nowhere, hoping that somebody needs to buy some enchanting supplies. And I think that's what blows my mind about this guy is like, why is he even here? Like, is he just trying to not sell enchanting supplies? Like, you would think he'd set up shop along the road, or, you know, pick a spot where people would be like, oh, hey, he's right over there. Or even just have like a little path that leads here. But it's just, there's no hints that this guy's even out here. Like, this is terrible business. But one thing he's not terrible for is being on a list of NPCs in the middle of nowhere. And so that's why Leo Sarn is number 2. 1. And number 1 is Captain Hab, and Captain Hab is a human ghost located off the eastern coast of the Azure Span. And he's found just sitting on this small island, and you talk to him, and he's got a quest called Me Lucky Lure, and he says, "You find me in a low place, dwarf, and it's not because I'm dead. I died on the hunt, making sure the beast that killed me crew wouldn't live to kill again. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what me pa would have wanted. No, the problem is that the fight was a draw. The beast spirit is still out there, as sure as I stand here before you. But being a ghost, I can't even reclaim me lucky lure from the critters that picked me body clean to have another go. Would you mind helping me out?" But yeah, this is clearly a reference to Captain Ahab from Moby Dick, and you do help him get his lucky lure back, and then you help him fight the big fish that he wants to take out. But the best part is the fish is also a ghost, so you get to fight this big ghost fish for the ghost pirate. And so yeah, out of all the NPCs in the middle of nowhere, I just thought that fighting a ghost fish for a ghost pirate was the coolest one, and so that's why Captain Hab is number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more Top 10s, you can check out Weirdest Mobs from the other week, or you can check out 3 hours of random WoW objects and things to fall asleep to, which is a compilation of many Pointless Top 10s I just uploaded. Also, like, comment, subscribe, and consider supporting the channel on patreon.com/Wowcrendor or by becoming a channel member. Okay? Okay. See you.